Welcome back. So groundbreaking research right here in the Pacific Northwest on a controversial topic, editing human embryos.
Yeah, we brought you this news earlier this week. A team of researchers at Oregon Health and Science University in Portland demonstrating they can improve human embryos by literally editing their DNA at the moment of fertilization. Now, the purpose of the research is to correct or eliminate genes that might otherwise cause inherited disease, but the overall implications are vast. So we brought in a local expert who can help us understand this just a little bit more. Dr. Lori Marshall is a reproductive endocrinologist and partner with Pacific Northwest Fertility in Seattle. She also served on an ethics board and on the committees of American Society for Reproductive Medicine and American Congress of Obstetrics and Gynecology. So lots of background and experience with this. We really appreciate you joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. This is so exciting for us.
What did you think when you first read this? And MIT was the one that kind of leaked this out, right?
Right. Well, no one's seen the paper yet. The paper, I understand, is going to be published in the near future. So everyone's just speculating on what it said. This is not about fertility, of course. This is about preventing genetic diseases. And I think as everyone knows, genetic mutations can cause a whole suite of very serious pediatric and adult diseases. You might have heard some of them like Tay-Sachs, Huntington's disease, and this research is targeted at preventing those diseases.
So I'm going to try and summarize what I think happened here, what editing is. It's basically like injecting a chemical into the egg at about fertilization and basically kind of like taking a tiny bit of the DNA out or putting some in, depending on the process. But in here, it sounds like maybe taking it out and then putting it in. Okay, so replacing it.
So it's replacing it. So a mutation in a gene is damaged DNA. And so this is this amazing research mechanism by which you can take a CRISPR editing molecule and put it into the egg at the same time as the sperm, is what I understand. Again, no paper yet, but and that what that does is just finds the damaged DNA, cuts it out, and replaces it with something that's healthy.
So the positives sound like, I mean, it can improve health over generations. It can help a couple who may have a disease that runs in their family.
Exactly.
And start their family and have their kids. But there are a lot of people who are coming out with quite a few concerns. And especially, as you say, nobody's been able to read the details of this report. This is just, information that's been slightly leaked by someone else. So we don't have the details. But what are the potential negatives, especially when it comes to people saying, what about designer babies? Are people going to edit these genes to make a perfect baby?
Well, I think from the standpoint of being a physician, that the bigger concern is safety than designer babies. The bigger concern is this going to result in the desired effect? And are there going to be any untoward side effects? And the researchers in the United States have been very, very responsible. The National Academy of Sciences has issued a statement in February supporting this research because they felt that the potential impact on preventing very serious genetic diseases was huge. And however, they specifically said, do not use this for enhancements, meaning designer babies.
Which leads us to this letter that you got from an 8th grader, and you wanted to read a little bit of it, if you would.
This was before this, this was before this came out, and I got this random letter from an 8th grader who was doing a science project in school and looking at inventions, and wrote letters to many fertility clinics encouraging us not to use technology to make designer babies.
Let's see if we have it. I know that we might have. Oh, we don't have it. If you have a couple lines that you can read, if you don't worry about it. But I read it, a little bit of it when you sent it to me, and it was just basically a concern over, it's good for some things, but not for others. Coming from a very great perspective,
very heartfelt concern. And so I think a lot of the population, a lot of the general public is very concerned about designer babies. We see this technology as having so much potential to prevent really horrible disease that we feel like there can be a line that will be drawn. And I think that the entire scientific community in the United States is really committed to doing that.
Who draws that line?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways the line can be drawn. Yeah. This particular research is not funded by the government.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the government will not fund research that involves embryos, and this research involves embryos.
Interesting.
So the National Academy of Sciences is a private oversight body that puts forth guidelines for scientists, and that body is very respected and provides oversight. If a research group has a paper, they're not going to be able to publish a paper that involves enhancements in this country. So the editors of scientific journals are not going to allow that work to be published. Every research institution has boards that review the research before it's done, and then they have committees that watch the research as it's being done. So I think that here in the United States, that there's so much regulation of this type of research that I think the line can be drawn.
Interesting. I didn't even know those existed already.
Yeah, I think the line can be drawn, and I think everyone has to be committed to not stepping over that line.
Well, Dr. Lori Marshall, thank you very much for helping us kind of understand where that line is and what this research could mean for so many people, so many families. Thank you for being here.
Yes, great job. Thank you.
Great.